Hey, this is Brian again, and I'd like to ask you to do a favor. We can't do this work without people like you, so if you can, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about Bring Back the Porch.
For the last 4 weeks, it's been Tuesdays and Thursdays. After I finished my class for my second year, it was moving over 2 shops and hanging out with Zenon and practicing away.
This episode of Bring Back the Porch brought to you by Bernie Leahy, River Street Realty. Let's get you home. Well, as you can tell, we are not on the porch. We are in the South Welding Lab at the Medicine Hat College. We're here with Kenny Collins, who is celebrating because you just passed your second year apprenticeship as a welder.
Yes, I did.
So, you know, we'll keep the celebration till after the podcast.
Sounds good.
And your instructor is Zenon Parchewsky, just newly minted as an instructor after many years in the field.
Yes, sir.
And we're here today because Kenny is off next in early May to take part in an apprenticeship skills competition.
Yeah. And
why?
So in high school, I did it my grade 11, grade 12 year. My grade 11 year, I actually ended up going up to Edmonton for provincials. And then my grade 12 year, I didn't make it past this shop. So when the college came to me and were like, hey, do you want to go? I was like, yeah, I'll go.
You have some unfinished business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, this is your first time in this competition as an instructor, but I think you have experience. You actually went through this yourself when you were an apprentice.
Yeah, when I came through the college, kind of similar to Kenny's, I did skills competitions through the high school as well, and then they offered me the spot to go out for the skills competition in the college, and it's going to be cool to go back as a coach instead of just being there as a spectator. So
more nervous as a coach than you were as a competitor?
No, especially after being there once and doing the welding, and Kenny's also been there. We know what it feels like, and just the pressure of people standing there watching you work all day long gets a little bit intensive.
Yeah. Fishbowl feeling.
Yeah.
Is it worse than doing this, where we have 3 cameras pointing at you and microphones in your face?
No, skills is definitely a little bit more intimidating.
I gotta ask you, why welding? Why that as a trade?
So my uncle was building a golf cart one summer, and me and my dad were over at the garage, and he's like, you ever weld it? I'm like, no, never. So he gave me a hood, a pair of gloves, and stinger. He's like, let's see what you can do. And then from there, kind of Christmas, got a welder. Then I started working at the shop I'm at now, and kind of just took off with it.
So it just got into your blood right away.
Right away.
Yeah, as opposed to picking up a hammer or a saw and becoming a carpenter.
It was either welding or going truck driving, just like my dad and grandfather. So, and my dad kind of shut that one down on me. So he's like, no.
How did you get involved in welding?
My grandpa was a welder. My dad is a fitter, so works alongside with the welders. And I was going to school for architecture and engineering, and then my dad just started showing me paychecks, and he said, show me someone else that can make this type of money in a couple days. And that swayed it enough, and then in high school I got a job in welding, and I've just stuck to it ever since.
Yeah, and I think you went through a program when you were in high school. You called it the RAP program?
The RAP program, yeah. So it's a registered apprenticeship program. So for every, say, 25 or 24 hours you work, you're credited 1 credit towards your graduation. So because I did the RAP program, I got to graduate a year early. So. And
you're a journeyman and Red Seal approved. What does that mean?
So your journeyman or journey person certificate is a provincial designation, and then the Red Seal is a nationwide designation. So anywhere I go across Canada, I'll be recognized as a welder. Mm-hmm.
Do you see you following in his path?
Well, so far with how he describes how he went, we're on the same path because I did the RAP program through high school as well and skills. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of, I'm following in his footsteps a little bit without knowing it.
Yeah. Tell me what it was like that first time when you touched the welder to the metal.
A little intimidating. It was weird. It was like, this doesn't make sense, but at the same time, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
What do you feel in like this?
no, nothing like that. It was just a weird feeling being able to watch something solid turn to liquid and then become solid again and hold stuff together. It was just one of those things where it was like, this is cool, but it doesn't make sense in my brain.
Do you remember your first weld?
Yeah, so when I was like 12, one of my good friends, his dad owns a welding company. And so we'd be in the garage and we'd just take all the change and coins we could find and like, what, can we weld a toonie to the table? And so we would just pull the trigger and weld over top of this money and just watch it basically evaporate. And we would just be like laughing so hard, and his dad would come in, he's like, what is that smell? What is that smell? And he'd come look at the table, there's all these nickels and dimes and toonies all melted up, and just like a little bit of the creative and kind of some mischievous kind of stuff. And like, I just love that. So we just kept going with that. And honestly, it hasn't changed.
No.
And I'm still that same person. If I think I could probably weld it, I'm going to try.
Yeah. So it's like gluing with metal, I guess, and electricity, arc welding?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
There are two types of welding. There's arc and...
No, there's multiple. There's,
okay.
Yeah, there's like resistance welding, there's arc welding, there's gas welding, like the flame welding that they used to do. And now there's laser welding that's now more prevalent as we're moving into the future. So yeah, there's such a wide variety.
In preparation for the skills competition, have you been practicing?
Yeah, for the last 4 weeks, it's been Tuesdays and Thursdays. After I finished my class for my second year, it was moving over 2 shops and hanging out with Zenon and practicing away.
Now, you have an idea what they're going to ask you to do there, so you've had a chance to do it multiple times.
Just a couple of the welds, yeah. A lot of it transfers from what I've learned in my first year and second year. It transfers over really well. So, and with Zenon teaching me, he's kind of like, hey, this is what they're looking for, so let's practice this way, so it's actually easier once you get there.
And I think you were telling me that you have 3D plastic models of what you're actually going to be assembling at the skills competition. So you're going in with a good game plan.
Yeah, for the most part. There's a couple pieces we're still missing with it, but once we get all the pieces, we're going to sit down and kind of look at it and tape them together and label them, mark them, and all that.
As a coach, what do you do to try to get them ready for this?
First, we like take the package of prints of what the project is. Really go through those packages, because there are some rules in there that are in the fine print that says, like, if you weld one of these welds out of, say, 40 that you have to do, if any one of these welds is welded in the wrong position or in the wrong orientation, that whole project is worth 0. Right? So there's a lot of these little fine prints. So what me and Kenny have been doing is kind of looking at the design and the structure of how this is going to be assembled, and then trying to recreate those types of welds to meet the parameters that they're looking for, because the parameters that they have set for the test is very specific to this test. It wouldn't be something that some of these welds wouldn't be something you'd see too much outside of this kind of situation. So
it's not real world application, I guess. This is technical stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of real world application there, but the technical skills are a lot more like advanced of the types of some of the hand movements that you have to do, because one of the structures is half a soccer ball. So it needs to be welded flat on the table, but you can think when you take a soccer ball, some's kind of coming at an angle outwards, some's coming up, some is in a flat. And when you're in a welding school, you're not really practicing welding in these super unique kind of positions. So we've been focusing more on just kind of the nitty-gritty technical things that's gonna kind of play through.
When you heard that there was a skills competition, you had experienced it in high school. Did you step forward, or were you sort of voluntold that you're going to do this?
It's one of those things where I was in my class, and one of the other instructors came up. He's like, "Hey, I know you did skills through high school. Would you want to do it for the college?" And it was, yeah, let's do it. Like, I enjoyed it. I got unfinished business to do, like he said. So it's just one of those things where I wanted to go do it again.
And you identified, I guess, early on that he would be a good candidate.
Yeah, me and the other instructors, we just talked about the people who kind of we have available and who we kind of think would be the best fit for it. And Kenny was the first choice, so awesome.
Representing the Medicine Hat College is an honor, I would think.
Yeah, for sure. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah. Have you talked to anybody else that's been through this to get advice?
Not really. It's just been me and Zenon bearing down and going through like a team. So.
Okay. So you're now through 2 years of your apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Why did you want to become an apprentice? Why not just go out and start working?
Kind of have to do an apprenticeship to get into the field of work, so you get your tickets and all that. So, kind of more so the reason. But
Yeah. And you have an employer, I think, Dynamic Industrial Solutions.
yeah, I've been with them since I was 15. So.
Okay, and they are supportive of everything you do?
Yep, 100%. They supported me through the high school competitions, gave me gloves and whatever I needed, let me practice there after hours. So they've always kind of been there, supportive of it all.
Okay. Are you living a little bit a second life through Kenny?
No? I'm happy for him to go through it, and I think this is like, skills is a chance to kind of show what you got, but also learn what you have. You know, like, what am I good at? What can I improve on? Plus, putting into a situation that has so much pressure on it, that translates to once you get into the field and now you're working and you have a weld where, you know, the plant is down or something and everybody is just waiting for you to finish. You know, there's $1 million a day that's sitting there on pause. And, you know, you have the engineers, the management, the superintendents, they're all just standing there. What can we do? How can we make this easier for you? What do you need? So it all falls back onto you. So this is a good example of kind of getting a little brief moment of what that expectation feels like later on in your career. You know, if you're going to be kind of an A player or like on the higher end of the skill set, there's a lot more responsibility that comes with it from like the D level players or the third liners, if that makes sense.
Who are the other competitors? Where are they from and how much experience will they have?
So I believe any post-secondary institution in Alberta has the ability to put forward a competitor. I believe there's up to 12 competitors. And then everyone has access to the online of what this is, hey, this is a project, whether they go through the practice or they have the time or if they have the availability. You know, like I got all of our stuff 3D printed for Kenny. Maybe some of the other institutes maybe don't have, you know, the support behind the college where I just started walking around asking who had 3D printers in the college and I had 3 people come up to me. So, you know, other schools might not have as much support or maybe they have more. I'm not sure.
Yeah. You're halfway through your program now. For someone that might be watching this and thinking, this is something maybe I'd like to get into, what's your advice for them?
Do it. Just jump in, get started. You'll never do the same thing twice. So just, if you're scared to do it, just do it.
Just get the hands, roll up the sleeves, and get to work.
Just do it.
What does the program involve? I mean, there's obviously we're in a lab here where there's a lot of hands-on stuff, but there's got to be some academic, I guess, component to it as well.
Yeah, we do. So in first year, it's like probably closer to a 60-40 split or maybe a little bit more in the classroom. In first year, you're learning a plethora of just welding knowledge, metal, safety, the environment, what to look for. And then we also do a lot of trade math too. So, you know, volumes and areas, perimeters, stuff like that when you're tasked to go and bid or build something. And then in second year, it's more developing templates on how to build and cut things, more theory. And then third year, it's blueprint reading and more theory.
And is there a fourth year too?
Just 3 years. for
3
welding.
years, okay. So 3 years of your life. How long is the actual apprenticeship training here?
8 weeks per period, so
Okay,
it's
so
2
you
months
come,
at a time.
you come back every year then?
You can. 4 months ago, I actually finished my first year, and then 2 months later, I came and did my second year. I had the hours to do it and time to do it, so I decided to do it.
So you're on the fast track.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so nervous about going up to Edmonton?
A little bit, not as much as I was the first time. Now that I actually have a coach that's teaching me, and I have the prints and everything to look at and all that. So this go around's a little bit calmer, but there's still that little bit in the gut where it's like, okay,
Well,
I gotta do this. How am I gonna do it?
I've been doing interviews for over 50 years now, and I still get nervous before everyone, and I think that's a good thing because it means that you care. So good luck to you in Edmonton, and thank you for mentoring this young man.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, this is Brian again, and I'd like to ask you to do a favor. We can't do this work without people like you, so if you can, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about Bring Back the Porch.